stand up right now if you are physically able. Go ahead, I'll wait a moment while you stand. Once you're standing, pause and truly notice how your body and mind feel in this exact instant. Do you sense any subtle stiffness settling into your joints or lower back? Perhaps a heavy, deep fatigue weighing you down, or that familiar mental fog gently clouding your thoughts, making everything feel a bit less sharp? Here is an important truth that far too many older adults overlook, downplay, or simply accept as inevitable. The mild cognitive slowing you're experiencing, those occasional memory slips, difficulty finding the right word, or overall sense of mental dullness, is often not a normal or unavoidable part of aging. Many people quietly accept it as permanent and unstoppable, but in most cases, that's not the complete story. Let me share something surprising and frequently missed. The sleep problems you've been dealing with are quietly and steadily damaging the long term health and clarity of your brain. The damage accumulates silently, no sudden pain, no clear alarms, usually without you even noticing the gradual harm building up. What if I told you directly that the single biggest hidden culprit harming brain health in so many older adults isn't excessive sugar, isn't solely long term stress, and isn't primarily genetics, but something much more common every day and completely within your power to improve your sleep habits, routines, and daily patterns? I'm Dr. Name, and for more than 20 years, my career and clinical research have centered on the profound connection between sleep and sustained brain health, especially as we age. In my practice, I repeatedly see the same troubling pattern. Older adults arrive feeling anxious, sometimes genuinely frightened, convinced that their growing memory lapses, rising irritability or short temper, or moments of confusion are just unavoidable signs of getting older that everyone must eventually accept. Yet, in a surprisingly large number of those cases, when we examine the full picture, the true root cause is something far more treatable and fixable: the quality of their sleep, or more precisely, how consistently they've been missing steady, high quality, deeply restorative sleep night after night. Much of the sleep advice people have followed for years, and much of what still appears in standard recommendations, is unfortunately incomplete. It overlooks several critical factors that truly determine genuine sleep quality. True sleep quality isn't mainly about the number of hours spent in bed. In fact, sleep is the single most essential, non negotiable period each day when your brain performs vital behind the scenes maintenance and renewal. It flushes out harmful metabolic waste and toxic proteins, such as beta amyloid linked to cognitive decline, that accumulate during wakefulness. It consolidates and strengthens new memories and skills from the day. It repairs worn or damaged neural connections, and it resets emotional centers to restore balance, calm, and resilience for the next day. When sleep becomes repeatedly interrupted, shallow, fragmented, or lacking in depth, even if total time in bed seems enough, the brain is almost always the first organ to display the effects, the decline, and the reduced performance. From a solid clinical and neuroscientific perspective, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, your brain's master circadian clock in the hypothalamus, depends heavily on consistent, reliable timing cues from your daily habits and environment to stay properly synchronized and perform optimally. When bedtime varies significantly or lacks regularity, even by just an hour or two from night to night, the amount and quality of deep NREM sleep, crucial for robust long-term memory consolidation and synaptic pruning, declines, weakens, and becomes disrupted. A significant long-term study from the University of Colorado Boulder tracked 300 adults over 8 years. It found that those with irregular or highly variable sleep schedules experienced a striking 30% faster decline in episodic memory, the kind used for recalling personal events and experiences, and this accelerated drop occurred even when their average sleep duration remained roughly the same. Another common habit among older adults is remaining awake in bed for extended periods, anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour or longer, night after night, dismissing it as no big deal or just occasional. This pattern is particularly damaging, insidious, and self perpetuating. Your brain is an extremely efficient, lifelong learning system that continually forms strong associations between places, actions, and mental states. When you repeatedly lie in bed feeling restless, anxious, or unable to sleep for weeks or months, your brain gradually begins linking the bed with wakefulness, alertness, rumination, worry, or mild stress, instead of the calm, deep, restorative sleep it should signify. Over time, this negative conditioning results in lighter overall sleep architecture, more frequent brief awakenings and fragmentation, and a noticeable reduction in slow wave deep restorative sleep. Consider a straightforward everyday analogy. It's like repeatedly trying to park your car but leaving the engine idling in the middle of a noisy, busy city street instead of carefully pulling into a quiet, secure garage. Your bed should be a peaceful, safe, predictable sanctuary, a true garage where your mind and body can fully unwind and recharge. But by staying awake and mentally active in it night after night, you unintentionally transform that calm space into something noisy and overstimulating, like heavy traffic with constant disturbance. Research from Johns Hopkins University, following 250 adults aged 65 and older over an extended period, revealed that those who regularly spent prolonged time awake in bed had, on average, 42% more disruptive nighttime awakenings and noticeably higher levels of morning anxiety and tension. The gradual buildup leads to progressively worse daytime brain fog, persistent irritability or quick temper, diminished emotional recovery, and even the onset or intensification of anxiety, even in people who previously had little of it. Picture your brain as a large, absorbent sponge throughout your waking hours. It requires sufficient wakefulness pressure from extended active periods to be thoroughly cleaned, cleared, and refreshed during sleep. When you shorten that daytime buildup by going to bed far too early, the nighttime processes of detoxification, repair, and memory strengthening cannot occur as completely or effectively. Detailed polysomnography studies from the University of Michigan demonstrated that older adults with very early bedtimes, often 8 p.m. or earlier, had REM sleep cycles approximately 20% shorter on average, even when they spent 9 to 10 hours in bed attempting to rest. This timing mismatch frequently appears as and is mistakenly attributed to early indicators of cognitive decline or mild cognitive impairment. The encouraging news is that in the majority of cases, this issue is largely reversible through consistent, intentional adjustments to bedtime routines. Additionally, controlled research from Stanford University showed that even moderate light in the bedroom at night among adults 65 and older could suppress melatonin production by up to 50%. That suppression resulted in lighter, less efficient sleep stages, reduced memory formation and retention the following day, and modest but detectable declines in executive function. Far too many older adults underestimate the enduring impact of this subtle environmental influence, largely because the brain offers no dramatic or painful alerts when melatonin remains consistently suppressed. The cognitive and emotional consequences accumulate slowly and quietly over months and years, making the connection to poor sleep habits difficult to recognize in real time. Let me share the story of Harold, a 68-year-old who progressively shifted his bedtime earlier and earlier, eventually settling at 7 p.m., believing more time lying down would deliver better rest, faster recovery, and greater daytime energy. Instead, the opposite occurred. He woke fully alert at 3 a.m. every night, unable to return to sleep, lying there frustrated and staring at the ceiling for hours. Subsequent testing revealed mild but evident declines in short-term recall and working memory. He had also relied on low-dose sleep medication nightly for years, but its effectiveness had faded. Together, we established a strict, fixed morning wake-up time, regardless of how little sleep he got, drastically reduced nighttime light exposure, particularly from screens and hallway lights, and gradually delayed bedtime by 15 minutes every few nights. Harold's deep sleep percentage increased by an impressive 35%, according to his sleep tracker. Within just 8 weeks of steady commitment, his word recall and list learning scores rose from 1520 to 1920. the dense morning brain fog he'd endured for years disappeared entirely, and his daytime mood shifted to calm, patient, and positive. The rest protocol had effectively reactivated his brain's natural repair and regulation mechanisms. The rest protocol is built around four core pillars. First is rhythm, establishing and maintaining a fixed wake up time every single day. Commit firmly to rising and getting out of bed at precisely the same time each morning, no matter how poorly or briefly you slept the previous night. Next is stimulus control, a well established behavioral sleep technique. If you find yourself awake in bed for more than 20-30 minutes at any point during the night, and sleep refuses to come despite relaxation efforts, get up quietly, keep lights extremely low, using a small red or amber light for safety if necessary, and engage in something truly boring and non stimulating, like reading dull pages from an uninteresting book, listening to calm, non narrative sounds, gentle nature recordings, or soft instrumental music, or simply sitting quietly in another room. The goal is to retrain your brain to associate your bed and bedroom strongly with rest, relaxation, drowsiness, and deep sleep, not with wakefulness, overthinking, or anxiety. Johns Hopkins studies demonstrated that this approach reduces average nighttime awakenings by about 42% in older adults within 6 weeks of consistent application. Then comes timing, the third pillar. Aim for a bedtime window generally between 9:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. for most older adults, with minor adjustments for your natural chronotype or schedule, but this range carries robust evidence. If your current bedtime is significantly earlier, like 7:30 or 8 p.m., shift it later gradually in 15-minute increments every few nights until you achieve better biological alignment. Finally, intentionally minimize nighttime light exposure and discuss any current sleep medications openly with your doctor. After sunset, transition to dim, warm, amber, or red lighting at home and avoid blue light screens, phones, tablets, TVs, etc., for at least 1 hour before bed, ideally 90 minutes to 2 hours. Protecting your natural melatonin production is vital for deeper, more restorative sleep and for facilitating overnight brain detoxification, memory consolidation, synaptic balance, and emotional reset. Even modest, consistent improvements in light habits and screen avoidance frequently yield surprisingly substantial and enduring benefits in daily brain performance and well being. To be completely clear and responsible, the REST protocol provides safe, evidence based lifestyle and behavioral strategies to enhance natural sleep quality and support brain health. It is not a medical cure, treatment, reversal, or preventive measure for diagnosed conditions such as dementia, Alzheimer's disease, vascular cognitive impairment, Lewy body disease, frontotemporal dementia, or other serious progressive neurological disorders. Never discontinue, alter, or adjust any prescribed medications, sleep aids, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, cognitive enhancers, etc., without full consultation and approval from your physician or neurologist. If you have untreated obstructive sleep apnea, serious cardiac conditions such as congestive heart failure, recent heart attack, or arrhythmias, severe untreated depression, bipolar disorder, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain that disrupts sleep, or other significant medical or psychiatric conditions, consult your doctor, a sleep specialist, or the appropriate expert before implementing major sleep routine changes. The wisest approach is gradual. Begin with a fixed wake up time, slowly adjust bedtime, then incorporate stimulus control and light management once the foundation feels stable. Gradual shifts allow your body and brain to adapt comfortably and sustainably, far better than sudden drastic changes. These steps are low risk, generally safe for most older adults when implemented thoughtfully, and supported by strong, peer reviewed evidence demonstrating meaningful improvements in sleep quality, cognitive function, and brain health with aging. My personal challenge to you today is straightforward. Select just one element of the REST protocol, perhaps committing to a fixed wake up time, including weekends, gradually shifting bedtime toward 9:30, 10:30 p.m., reducing evening light exposure, or using stimulus control when awake too long in bed, and follow it diligently for the next 30 days without exception. Each day, jot a brief note on how your mental clarity, mood stability, and memory reliability feel compared to before? After those 30 days, return here and share candidly in the comments what went well, what was challenging, and any changes, large or small, you noticed in brain function, energy, mood, or sharpness. Your genuine experiences can inspire, encourage, and foster hope and connection for others facing similar struggles, while reinforcing your own commitment. Your brain has faithfully supported you through decades of life's ups and downs, joys, challenges, victories, losses, quiet achievements, everything. It has been your companion, problem solver, memory keeper, and emotional anchor. It deserves far more than to be dismissed as just old age, when so much of the decline may actually stem from correctable sleep issues rather than irreversible aging. The empowering truth is that you can take practical, science backed steps right now to achieve sharper memory, improved focus, more stable emotions, and renewed mental energy, all through careful, consistent enhancements to your sleep habits. The frequently overlooked reality persists: poor, inconsistent, low quality sleep, not merely sugar consumption, not chronic stress by itself, not primarily genetics, is quietly accelerating brain function decline every day, typically without pain or obvious signals. Over more than 20 years in senior brain health and sleep research and clinical practice, I've observed this preventable pattern recur in hundreds upon hundreds of patients. Memory difficulties, irritability, confusion, word finding challenges, daytime fatigue, and diminished resilience frequently arise from chronic sleep disruptions and suboptimal sleep patterns rather than aging alone. Sleep is active nightly brain maintenance, clearing toxins, storing memories, repairing connections, and resetting emotions. When quality declines, the brain suffers the most severe consequences first and most profoundly. The truth so many continue to overlook, minimize, or miss is this: poor, disrupted, inconsistent, or low quality sleep habits, not excessive sugar over time, not chronic stress and isolation, not mainly genetic factors, are quietly and steadily impairing and hastening brain function decline every day, often without pain, without clear warnings, and without the connection becoming apparent immediately. After more than 2 decades dedicated to senior brain health and sleep science in research and clinical practice, I've witnessed the same avoidable pattern emerge countless times in hundreds of patients. Memory lapses, heightened irritability or emotional reactivity, increasing confusion or word finding problems, persistent daytime fatigue, and reduced mental resilience commonly result from chronic sleep disruptions and less than optimal sleep structure rather than unavoidable aging by itself. Sleep is far more than passive rest. It's the essential, active nightly window when your brain manages critical housekeeping, clearing accumulated toxic metabolic waste, consolidating and reinforcing new memories for long term storage, performing microscopic repairs to damaged or weakened neural pathways, and resetting your emotional equilibrium and limbic system for improved stability and adaptability moving forward. When sleep quality repeatedly diminishes, fragments, or becomes shallower, your brain invariably endures the most significant effects first and most intensely, often long before other organs display evident signs. Thank you sincerely from my heart for taking the time to watch, listen to, or read this entire message. It means a great deal that you invested this time to learn about something so vital for your long term well being. Feel entirely free and encouraged to share your current age in the comments. It builds community understanding, or simply write foggy if that captures how your thinking or energy has felt recently, or type I'm in if you're ready and motivated to begin at least one small practical rest change tonight or tomorrow. Enhancing and safeguarding your sleep is one of the kindest, most powerful, accessible, and significant actions you can take for your mind's long term health, sharpness, and vitality. I truly appreciate you being here with me today, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Whether a brain restored note, your 30-day update, or a brief comment on how this resonated with you. Take excellent care of yourself and your sleep until next time. One final gentle reminder as we conclude: the rest protocol changes are deliberately approachable, sustainable, and forgiving. You don't need to overhaul your entire life at once. Attempting everything simultaneously often leads to feeling overwhelmed and rapid burnout. That's precisely why the protocol stresses beginning with just one pillar, rhythm as the strongest and most foundational, since a consistent wake up time establishes a reliable anchor for everything else. Once that anchor is secure, the remaining elements, bedtime timing, stimulus control, light management, become considerably easier and more effective. Many people report that the first week or two feels a little strange, perhaps waking at the new fixed time, feeling groggy after limited sleep, or resisting the urge to nap, best avoided to preserve strong nighttime sleep drive. These temporary discomforts are normal indicators that your internal clock and sleep pressure systems are recalibrating. They nearly always diminish within 7 to 14 days as consistency strengthens and your circadian rhythm solidifies. If you encounter persistent difficulties, like extreme daytime sleepiness after weeks of effort, or a partner noting loud snoring, gasping, frequent leg movements waking you, or other signs of a potential underlying sleep disorder, please don't delay seeking professional help. A sleep study, polysomnography, or consultation with a board-certified sleep medicine specialist can identify treatable conditions like sleep apnea, periodic limb movement disorder, or others that behavioral changes alone may not completely resolve. Addressing those fundamental issues first often accelerates and amplifies the rest protocol's benefits. For most situations where accumulated poor sleep habits, rather than a major undiagnosed medical sleep disorder, are the primary concern, the strength of this approach lies in its simplicity and empowerment. No expensive devices, unusual supplements, or complex routines required. What truly counts is consistency, patience, and treating sleep as equally essential as eating well, staying active, and nurturing relationships. Sleep is not a luxury or optional. It's the foundation that enables every other aspect of life to function at its best. As you proceed with your selected single change over the next 30 days, approach it with curiosity rather than perfectionism. Observe what occurs when you maintain your wake up time even after a difficult night. Notice how energy, mood, and mental clarity shift, even subtly, when you reduce evening screens and bright lights. See if leaving the bed after 20-30 minutes awake reduces the time needed to fall back asleep upon returning. These small personal insights are incredibly powerful. They convert abstract science into tangible, lived evidence that your efforts are effective. When those 30 days conclude, I genuinely hope you'll return and share your experience. It can be brief and straightforward. Something like, age 72, began with a fixed 7 a.m. wake up. Fog lifting week by week, I'm in. Or, foggy described me perfectly. After 30 days, no phone past 9 p.m., mornings feel much clearer. Or, tough at first, wanted to stay in bed at 4 a.m., but stimulus control helped, memory already sharper. Your voice carries great weight. Every honest contribution supports someone else reading now, feeling discouraged and questioning whether change is possible at their age. It demonstrates they're not alone, that modest, consistent efforts can yield real progress, and that it's never too late to provide your brain the nightly support it has quietly required. In closing, here's my final thought. Aging itself is not the enemy of a sharp, vibrant mind. Neglecting the brain's most crucial nightly recovery process is. By choosing, even in one small way, to prioritize better sleep structure, you're investing in enduring mental clarity, emotional balance, and resilience that enhance every area of your life. You've already completed the most difficult part by reading to the end and opening yourself to the possibility that just getting older may not be the entire explanation. Now, the next small step belongs to you. Choose your one rest element tonight. Commit to beginning tomorrow morning. Track it gently for 30 days. Then come back and let us know how it went. Your clearer-minded future self is waiting on the other side of that consistency. Thank you once more for your time, your attention, and your willingness to consider a fresh perspective on brain health. Sleep well, live sharply, and I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take good care.